What's going on, Phantom Force and Cosmos fans alike? This is Phantom Base coming at you with our compilation APA week, Season 3, weeks 9 through 12. I know it sounds chaotic, and that's because my life has been for the last little while. I went on vacation, and then my schedule got all messed up with work, so I'm really behind. Obviously, I'm behind on this. These are all going up on the Sunday before playoffs go up, so that way we can start over, have some live commentary. I want to let you guys know ahead of time that I did get my capture card finally replaced, so I have a 3DS that, while it does not have an actual capture card, it has the custom firmware that allows me to stream my 3DS to the computer, so that's what I needed. Anyway, so if the quality on this is kind of shaky, you can probably understand why. My computer's not exactly 100% amazing, but it does the job. So, let's go over the teams. This is going to be really quick team overview, really quick things, just because I really don't have time to go in depth on these battles this time. And this video is going to require a lot of editing, sadly. So, I want to go ahead and just get this in as soon as possible. Anyway, so let's quickly go out with this team that I've got here. He brought Nate and the New York Noibats brought the exact team I expected, outside of maybe Honch Crow. I would expect something else like this. What else did he have on his team? I think he had Decidueye on his team. I kind of expected that, but in any case, the team he brought was Sash Lead Mamoswine with Rocks, Earthquake, Ice Shard, and I think I want to say Akasicko Crash. Can't really remember, but then we had a taunt, a bulky taunt, Roost, Stealth Rocks, and I believe the other move was Aerial Ace, Aerodactyl, only because taunt, Roost, Thunderfang, and Aerial Ace, because I didn't want to be stopped by Honch Crow / Suicune, which in the end doesn't matter. But then I have a Trick Room Bronzong with Earthquake, Hidden Power Ice, and I think Gyro Ball. I can't remember. This has been a while. I'm gonna skip over Zangoose because that's my win condition for this week. I have pretty bulky Tapu Fini with Moonblast. Oh golly, what else did I bring? I think I had to brought Surf so I could hit Infernape and stuff, but and I brought Defog so I could get rid of hazards, because me getting rid of hazards was important to keep my Sash intact with Mamoswine. I brought an SC Plot 3 attacks Thundurus with, I believe, an Expert Belt, so I could potentially win. Modest Thundurus was really good here because I didn't feel the need to outspeed Infernape, because he was going to be, because really in the end game he couldn't do much to me unless he was running Stone Edge, and I didn't expect him to run that because I have so many things to switch into Stone Edge. And my last mod is Zangoose. It's a Belly Drum 3 attack set, Silk Scarf with a Knockoff, Return, and Feint. Feint is to prioritize the Infernape, Scarf to Infernape, going for Mach Punch, because with the Silk Scarf after Rocks we one shot, and we one shot it in Starmie after Rocks, and everything else drops to Return, and we outspeed everything else on his team. And we can also use Feint to spam against the Honch Crow, so he's not going to spam Sucker Punch against us, because Sucker Punch will fail. And so that's the point of this now. There's really not much commentary I can give over this particular match, because it's just one giant choke for me. And I'll explain it as you wear, but as you can tell, obviously we're going to lead with Mamoswine. And because it was our best opportunity to get up Rocks. His Taunter was slower than us, and I wanted to make sure that we could, unless he was running Taunt Infernape, which was an easy scout for me. So he leads his Uxie, so I'm like, okay, this is my chance to get up my Rocks. Like, if he's got Grass Knot, it'll bring us down to Sash, but we'll get our Rocks up. If he brings an Imprison set, we can always switch out to Zangoose as he sets up his own Rocks, and potentially scout what he's going to do from there. So we do try to set up our Rocks. It turns out he's highly invested in speed, so that we cannot set up our Rocks. And he goes for Imprison, which is okay with me, so we switch out and go into Zangoose, as we expect him to set up Rocks. And, yeah. Now here is where the choke of the game happened, because I knew that my only fear was that he was going to have not foul play here, which is why I ended up doubling. So it wasn't a misplay, but had I known his set from the beginning, I would have actually straight up 6-0'd here, because his set was side shock, U-turn, stealth rocket, and prism, meaning that he couldn't touch my Zangoose, really. I clicked belly drum one time, and I outspeed his entire team, because he was only creeping Mammoth Swine. I was creeping base 85s. So I outsped this thing and killed him, because he had to sacrifice a lot of bulk just to get that much speed. I would have also been able to keep my Silk Scarf intact, as you'll see later. Comes into a big play in the game. So I double out here and go out into my Tapu Fini, I believe. Yes, I go into my Tapu Fini to get rid of rocks, because I expect him to go for a U-turn, and we can easily chew a U-turn. And I want to make sure he wasn't going to go for Thunder Wave or something like that, so we could get this. And he goes for the U-turn, as I expect. Now, the funny thing is, first off, he does literally 9 damage to us with that, which is hilarious to me. So he goes into his Starmie. Now I'm sitting here thinking, okay, we're going to scout his set a little bit, because I want to see if he's got Thunderbolt. I want to see if he's got, see what kind of item he's got, just check all that stuff. And we're going to go for Defog. So, we get some lefties back. We are out of range of anything except the Specs Thunder. And he goes for Psychic, which tells me then that damage, obviously the Life Orb recoil tells me he is Life Orb. So this thing still can't kill me with this Psychic after my leftovers, which is really nice. So we're gonna stay in here and click Moonblast to get some nice chip on this thing, because I really want to make sure that we can whittle this thing into range to essentially use it to set up rocks with Mammoth Swine, because we have our Sash and Attack still, because I got rid of rocks. We get a good chunk of damage on this thing, around 50%, which is what I needed to get this thing to chip itself down into Ice Shard range. He goes for a Psychic here, and he does kill off my Tapu Fini, but that just affords me more chip on him from Life Orb. And it's clear that he didn't bring Recover, otherwise he'd have used it. So we go into Mammoth Swine here, knowing we can chew a hit and not get burned from the Scald Burn thanks to the terrain. As you can see, he does go for the Scald here, and he actually gets a crit and brings me to Sash range, which is what I was hoping he would do anyway, to get me down to Sash range, but it still works out. Get some more chip on him. We get up rocks, and we can turn around now and click Ice Shard to kill this thing, so because he is now guaranteed in range of even the minnest of min rolls. And we kill, and of course we pick this thing off the Ice Shard, which is what I wanted. So we essentially traded Starmie for Tapu Fini, which is perfect for me. And he goes back into Uxie here. So I'm thinking, okay, he's going to try to just kill me off here, which makes sense to me. I was still expecting him to have Foul Play or Grass Knot at this point. And so I was like, I'm willing to sack this thing off to get some chip on it with Ice Shard, knowing he outspeeds me. So I click Ice Shard here. As he makes the play of setting up his rocks. So I'm like, okay, had I clicked Icicle Crash, there would have done a lot of damage. But that's his prerogative. It works for him, I guess. All this to say that we click Ice, you get more chip on him with Ice Shard, and put him even further into range of other things on my team, such as potentially Gyro Ball, or put him closer into range of a 2-hit kill from Gyro Ball Bronzong because of his speed investment. He goes into his Gligar here, though, telling me this is a Defog Gligar for sure. So this is the moment I've been waiting for. So I wanted to get into my Zangoose here, and now here's where that play earlier where I didn't set up on the Uxie cost me essentially this entire game. I set up a belly drum here because it's free setup. He's got to have Defog, Roost, probably U-turn, and either Earthquake or something else, and he couldn't kill me with any one move. And he ends up bringing Knockoff, though, which is what costs me this entire game, because without my Silk Scarf, it is a roll for me to kill Infernape. It's about a 50-50 roll with Feint to kill him from Stealth Rock's range with Feint. And I have to go for Feint because he's going to go for Mach Punch. he has to go for Mach Punch, because otherwise he just can't stop me. Now, here's my, because if I had Quick Attack, I would kill him, but I have to have Feint to out-prioritize his Mach Punch. So this is the 50-50 roll here, and as you will see, this Feint does just barely misses that KO, and we of course lose our Zangoose. But to that effect, we do end up breaking out his Glider. We keep rocks up on the field. That's what's important. Now we're going to get into my Thunderous to start potentially trying to clean up here, which is another thing I could have done, but I misplayed once again, is I in the end switch out some here. But I set up a nasty plot because I figure he's scarfed, trying to outspeed my potential Zangoose, being either scarfed or Salicberry. Now he goes for Mach Punch again, telling me he's 100% scarfed, and I just go for Psychic here to kill him off, which is nice. Now his next Pokemon he goes into really causes me to be upset with my play here, because I 100% expect him to go for Sucker Punch. So I'm actually going to switch into my Bronzong, I believe, to catch the Sucker Punch, so that he doesn't actually do anything to me. What I should have done here was, what am I doing? I should have expected him to. I should have just made the obvious play, as obvious as it was, stayed and just click Thunderbolt. But because that would have actually sealed the game for me, because +2 Thunder is just cleaned up there. But he does end up going for Brave Bird, which, the way he's playing this thing, obviously tells me he's scarfed. And Brave Bird would not knock me out from that range, because I had a decent bit of bulk investment on this Thundurus. So he does withdraw, and we're gonna get a. I think we make a double. Yeah, we make a double out into our Aerodactyl here, trying to catch him going into his Uxie potentially. I don't know really why I thought that. Is either to catch this thing so I could potentially. I don't know what I was thinking here. It was just my best all-around play to keep me from becoming setup fodder for, or not even setup fodder, but a switch-in fodder for Suicune. I didn't want that to be a free thing. So, expecting him to go for Calm Mind or for Protect or something like that. I didn't want this to be Crocoon, and I didn't want this to be Vincoon. So I went for Taunt right away. And the Taunt, I pull out Taunt, and he does read that pretty well and goes for Scald. And fun fact is, with my bulk investment, we actually can 1v1 this Suicune pretty easily. I'm sorry for the lag, guys. I tried to record this as well as I could, but my computer was acting up at the moment. So, we go for a Roost here. I'm trying to scout what else he's got. If he's got another coverage move, if he's got Rest or Sleep Talk or whatever. Like, I know he's taunted right now, so I'm kind of checking to see if he's got a coverage move. Turns out he's still got Scald. I know you can't see it right now because it's lagging like crazy, but yeah, that's when we had to disconnect in the server while I was recording. Didn't matter in the long run. So we do end up getting back up to the same amount of health, and this is where I kind of choke it a little bit, I guess. I click Thunder Fang trying to scout damage, and it turns out he's fully physically defensive. So had he had sub, that would have been bad, but thankfully I had the taunt. But he kills me off, and I'm like, okay, I can go into Thunders here because he is in range of a Thunderbolt, and I have a pretty strong chance to kill him because I'm Modest Thunders, I believe. With his speed tiers, he has nothing faster than Infernape. So right here, I'm like, okay, I 100%. I have a super strong chance to kill this thing. Is well over 50% to kill this thing with Thunderbolt. So I just go for Thunderbolt, and wouldn't you know it, he lives on like 2% and just kills me with Scald. At this point, the game's over, and I know he's gonna play for differential at this point because his conference is kind of tight, or his division's kind of tight. So I go into Bronzong, of course. There's not much I can really do to this thing. I've got Earthquake and Gyro Ball, and I believe I have Explosion. But no, I have Gyro Ball, Earthquake, and Hidden Power Ice. So he goes for a rest just to make sure that he has a nice fun Stolly time. I click Trick Room, so I can start getting damage, some kind of damage on this thing. It doesn't make a difference because I click Earthquake here and you see I do absolute terrible damage with this thing. Like, look at that. That's so bad. That's like 10%, maybe 15. And he's proves to be Kroku here, as he Sleep Talk rolls a Scald, and fun fact, burns my freaking Bronzong. So Gyro Ball's not going to do anything to anything it might want to switch in. Earthquake isn't going to do anything to anything anyway because it's the last two monsters are levitating, and this thing takes nothing anyway. So here I make a fun play just because I was like, why not? If he's going to expect me to go for Earthquake, I might as well click Hidden Powers just in case he decides to randomly go into Haunch Crow on my Earthquake. And when you know, he actually does it. And with rocks up, I'm like, maybe we might have a chance to kill this thing and keep our differential somewhat low. But we just barely missed that KO. So, in that regard, I'm kind of sad about that because that's 2 rolls that I missed in this game. Actually, 3 rolls that I missed in this game. But anyway, so that was our loss against Nate. So you'll see we kind of have a little struggle time in this particular set of the game. So we're gonna jump quickly to my next matchup. Actually, I don't even think I'm gonna edit this, to be honest. We're just gonna go full force here. Let's go ahead and pull up my next battle, which was my week 10. Where is you at? There you are. Now, this match was me versus Kurt, aka Point Blank, coach of the Winnipeg Blue Blastoise, or he's took over for Basic Gamer, the 4th drop in our division. We are in divisional matches now, so I'm going to quickly go over this team, just so we can kind of have an answer, just to show you guys kind of what my thought process was. We have a bulky Aerodactyl meant to check Crobat. We have a physically defensive Mega Heracross, meant to check Weavile and Snorlax. We have Go-Goat, which is we have a pretty Spadef Go-Goat meant to take on the likes of Electrode, and it's a Koba Berry set too, so we can actually 2-hit kill Crobat if he's a defensive set, because Brave Bird into Brave Bird after the Koba Pop does not kill me, and after recoil I kill him with 2 Rock Slides, so that's fun. And we obviously take on Shaman because we can switch into Seed Flare spam. We have a Choice Scarf Tapu Fini this week, meant to beat a potentially Scarf Blaziken as well as a Flame Charge setup Blaziken. Also is meant to check Weavile and Shaman to an extent. Thundurus is a I believe we're running a I can't remember what exactly the set we are, but I know that my Umbreon is a Wish Toxic Baton Pass and Foul Play set. So without much further ado, we're going to hop right into the match. My lead was Aerodactyl to scout his lead because outside of Electrode, we outsped everything on his team. And I wanted to make sure that we could scout some damage here. So, we lead up with our Skyfall, the Aerodactyl, as he does end up leading with his Electrode. Which, I mean, yeah, this match I didn't bring my best, only because I wanted to make sure that if I had to face him again in playoffs, I would have a better team on backup. This team was my secondary team, so I played it around. I still wanted to play my best to clinch my spot in playoffs. But so we make our double out and to go just to check and see what he's going to do. And he ends up going for Volt Switch. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to see what damage this thing does. It does a decent chunk, so I'm like, okay, this thing is either Timid Specs or Mana Zap Plate. And he goes into Crobat here, so I'm like, okay. I don't even know what I do here, but I switch out trying to preserve my Koba Berry. I go back into my Aerodactyl as he goes for, annoyingly enough, he goes for U-turn. And something I noticed with this team right away is that I don't deal well with initiative spam. So I've got to have a bit of more of an aggressive play style when it comes to this next setup that he brings. I have leftovers, obviously, so we're healing up almost as much as he's doing with U-turn, telling me he's also pretty defensive. Back into Go-Goat, because you know, it's my best check to this electrode. I've got milk drink, so I can not have to worry about getting whittled down too badly. He goes into his Weavile, which tells me that he's obviously gonna. I mean, that's an easy way to pressure me out. So funny fact is, I think I go into my Heracross here. No, I go into Umbreon, and of course the one time he predicted me to go into Tapu Fini here, and he goes for a poison jab. And the one time he goes for poison jab, he gets the poison jab poison, which is both good and bad. Good in the sense that I synchronize it to him as he reveals his life orb. So he's taking double chip, which really sucks for him. But this chip on Umbreon is bad. Like, it prevents me from setting up wishes. It prevents me from switching in freely on a lot of things that I would normally switch in. Now, he goes for a low kick here. As I click Baton Pass to get into something for free, essentially. It proved to me he's got Scarf, for one thing, with his Life Orb. So that means I can actually go into my Tapu Fini to scare him out. To either bluff the Kibi Berry or just to scare him out with the Scarf. So I straight up click Moonblast here, actually. Either I click Nature's Madness, I can't remember. But he withdraws his, Weavile, goes into Shaman. And I believe I click Moonblast here, just to kind of keep him scared, keep the pressure up. And that still did a lot, so we're going to obviously switch out and go back into Go-Go. He predicts this and goes for Air Slash, but it doesn't matter too much because I have the Copa Berry. Which is really nice for me, because that really helps me chew that hit really stinking well. I mean, we chew that hit really. We can take another Air Slash, and he proves to be Life Orb Shaman. So I'm like, okay, he withdraws his Shaman, goes into his Crobat here, and I believe I doubled out. And I clicked Milk Drink just to scout what he was going to do, see if I could stay in and heal up on his Shaman. When we get up to full, and I actually stay in as he goes for the U-turn, because I knew I could live a Brave Bird from this range, and I wanted to get a lot of damage. So he switches, he goes into his Blaziken, as I clicked Milk Drink just to make sure I healed up even better. Now, here I believe I go into my I can't remember what I do here. He doubles out. He goes into Shaman. I believe I go into my Tapu Fini. Yeah, I go into Tapu Fini here, because Tapu Fini is always pretty decent switch into Blaziken outside of a Poison Jab or Thunder Punch set. But so this double allows me to click Ice Beam as he goes for or as I miss out on the KO here, but he clicks Leech Seed. Now what really sucks here is that I believe there's something that causes him to stick around. I know I switch out here. I didn't expect him to stay in here, so I went to Thundurus. As he clicks no, he doubles out. Okay, so that makes sense. And he goes into his Electrode here, so I'm like, okay, it's time to scout some damage. I expect him to be Specs, so I expect him to go for Volt Switch. I click, he clicks Taunt as I go for a Thunderbolt. And I'm sitting there thinking, dang it, should have gone for a Nasty Block, so I would have guaranteed being able to kill this thing. Or at least been really close. So, he goes for T-Bolt of his own, telling me that he's obviously not choiced in any way. And that proves to me that he's Zap Plate. I click Focus Blast, and that's what sucks about this match, is that Focus Blast from that range would have killed that Electrode. And would have put me in a really solid position to outspeed his entire team, barring Crobat. But Crobat couldn't take me out with one hit from his Brave Bird, meaning that I would have actually been able to straight up clean, I think, at that point. So that's what sucks, is that he clicks Volt Switch here. He gets the roll to kill me with his Zap Plate, Volt or Electrode. And I get the initiative here, thankfully. So he goes out into Cuddles the freaking Snorlax. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna go into my Heracross here. Now, expecting me to go for a fighting move, I would expect one of two switches, Crobat or Shaman, because nothing else on his team could take a low kick at all. So I was like, we're gonna click Rock Blast here, just because Rock Blast still does around 50% to this thing, and it'll take out Shaman from where it is. It'll take out Crobat as well. So it's my all-around best middle ground play, because I knew he wouldn't stay in, and he doesn't. He goes into his Shaman, and as you'll see, hacks is kind of a thing in this match. Things would have been a lot different had I not missed some moves. For example, the Focus Blast on Thundurus, and this Rock Blast misses too. So of course he gets to stick around for another day. I switch out because I'm not about to take this Air Slash, and I go into my Aerodactyl. But of course he decides to go for a Seed Flare, or a Leech Seed of all things, when Go-Goat was an easy switch in. So I don't understand that play very well. But now clearly he's gonna make his switch out into his Electrode. So I don't think I had any coverage for it. That's the worst part. So I click Stealth Rocks here, expecting him to switch, and he actually stays in and goes for a Seed Flare, which makes no sense because I could have just doubled into my Go-Goat, because I would have also covered him going into his Electrode. And so once again, these plays don't make any sense to me. It's not. I don't think he's reading me. It's just he's making weird plays that don't make sense. So all this to say, I go into my Tapu Fini just to scare this thing out again, and I believe I make the play here of going for Moonblast, because I know I can kill this thing from this range. And he withdraws. It goes into his Cuddles. So I believe I get the Moonblast damage off. And that's what's really nice here, is I can get, because I expected a pretty fat set, and he is a leftover set, telling me he's probably thick fat to take on Mamoswine. And I don't have a fire type, so there's really nothing else. So I'm going into my Umbreon here, sack it off so I can get into Kyoto for free, which is what I wanted. He kills off. He doesn't even kill off my Umbreon. That's the worst part. But instead, I died of poison, which was really stupid. But yeah, no, just the way the world works. So this is where I'm really wishing I had, like, I don't know, a different set on Heracross. But we're not going to discuss that. We'll discuss that in the team builder if I have to face Kurt again. So I force him out again with Heracross as he goes into his Shaman. And I finally get to connect the freaking Rock Blast, because I needed to, once again, predict and make sure that I could hit the potentially incoming Crobat. I wasn't about to risk it again. So he goes into his Crobat now, and I'm thinking, okay, he takes rocks. I don't really know what else to do, so I switch out and go into my Tapu Fini, and I was obviously clearly in range to live a Brave Bird from this thing. It wasn't offensive by any stretch of the imagination. I think it was like Jolly Max Attack or something like that. And I'm like, okay, we can live this next one based off the damage, and we can potentially two-hit kill with Ice Beam here. So I just click Ice Beam, right? But we get this thing down into range, and of anything really. He clicks Brave Bird, and wouldn't you know it, gets crit and knocks me out. So like, great, more hacks, and he kills himself with recoil. So funny fact is this actually screwed up his plan to win, in that Blaziken was going to come in and try to set up on my Tapu Fini. But the fun fact is that it would have been I think it would have been a different game. And honestly, I could have I don't know, I feel like I could have played that a little bit better. I could have prepped a lot better, but the Blaziken was definitely a win con here, because as you'll see, he's got a Flame Charge set. And I don't know, his prep is odd to me. So like, he goes for Flame Charge here. Now what's funny, he goes for Flare Blitz here, sorry. He does go for the Flare Blitz. And he does knock out my Heracross, which is really sad, because I mean, that recoil though, that's so much recoil. And like, so I go into my Go-Go here, because we're at near full, or no, we were at full, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe we can live this with our, because we have a lot of investment, but it turns out he's a flame plate set, so there's no way we're living anyway. And he just blows us away, and I was hoping he can kill himself with recoil so we can at least get differential lower. But, I mean, looking at that, he lives on, like, literally 1. But, anyway, so that's our match versus Kurt, so such a great time here, struggling against people. We're going to click pause here, and go, hopefully, into our next match. Yep, this is our next match. Now, this match, we're up against, Deathly I Am, coach of the Seattle Drizzlers, and he is also known as, this was gonna be a separate video known as Battle of the Tylers, but I didn't feel like once my vacation happened and this chaos in life happened, I felt the need to just do this video, and we'll go back to team builders and live narration as I can with playoffs. Fun fact, just in a few hours I'm having my playoffs match versus Elite Four Dan, because at this point playoffs are pretty set, but this match determines whether I completely clinch my top seed in my division. So as you will see here, we've got quite the team up against us today. I'm bringing I believe I'm bringing a Sashly Mamoswine again. Yes, I'm bringing Sashly Mamoswine with Earthquake, Stealth Rock, Ice Shard, and Endeavor, so I can guaranteed get things down into range like the Zapdos or Swampert or even the Politoed. Heracross is a rather bulky set again, I believe. With we're meant to take out things like Politoed. We're Spadef set really. Take out Politoed, deal with some other things on his team that he didn't bring. I can't really remember. Aerodactyl is actually a Choice Banded set. We're creeping his Espeon, or his, no, we're creeping his Thundurus. Choice Banded Aerodactyl, so we can, because we knock out most of his team in one shot anyway. We got Stone Edge, Earthquake, Crunch, and Aerial Ace, I believe. We've got we got Tapu Fini, we got a fun Tapu Fini set this week. We're a Whirlpool Taunt set with Nature's Madness and what was that? No, Whirlpool, Taunt, Root, or Protect, and Nature's Madness. Because I wanted to trap Politoed, I wanted to trap, we've got leftovers, so we can recover from Politoed pretty easily. We wanted to trap things like Amoonguss, Registeel. Heracross was meant to capitalize on both Amoonguss and Registeel, and that Amoonguss could actually not break our sub with Hidden Power Fire. We were a sub 3 attack set, sub Bullet Seed, Rock Blast, and I believe we were Low Kick again. See, the Low Kicker was Pin Missile, because he has Lottie. No, he doesn't have Latias. I don't know what he has. I can't remember everything, but I know we have Rock Blast and a Bullet Seed. Next up is Thundurus Incarnate. We have an Expert Belt set with Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, Dark Pulse, I believe, and I want to say we have Taunt, though I could be mistaken, so don't quote me on that. I can't really remember. My last set is a Wish Passing Umbreon, Wish Protect, Baton Pass, and Foul Play again. So yeah, we're gonna get right into this match. My lead every time was Mamoswine, because I was in Oblivious set. He couldn't taunt me, he couldn't encore me, he couldn't do really anything to me. He couldn't kill me in one shot with anything either. So and I expected his Tornadus lead anyway, because he's led it every week this season. So yeah, once again, I really hate post commentary. I hope you guys understand this. Like, post commentary sucks for me. So we lead with Mamoswine, as he does lead with Tornadus. So I'm thinking, okay, he can't taunt me. Best thing he can do is Focus Blast. We have a Sash, we can set up rocks. That's what I care about. So he withdraws because he's scared of Mamoswine. Perfectly understandable. He goes to Politoed. So I'm like, okay, this thing's a switch him. We'll see. So I click Stealth Rock here because, and I decide I want to preserve my sash on Mammoth Swine for things like Zapdos and other kind of things like that. So we switch out, we go into Tapu Fini to kind of scout his set. And fun fact of the day, turns out this thing is actually kind of offensive. Like, say that he has Focus Blast. So I'm like, okay, and apparently he can connect them, but I can't. But look at that. Even with, like, that's a decent chunk to a Tapu Fini from a Politoed. So he switches here, telling me that I feel like he may be choiced. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Choice Scarf Politoed can actually be a decent threat to my team. So I have to play around it carefully. So he switches, and he goes into his Zapdos, and I predicted the switch, and I went for Nature's Madness to guarantee get it in range of Ice Shard, even if he's Yachi, which is what I wanted. So I click Nature's Madness, which is great. So we can now, of course, he understands that at this point in the season that switch-ins are pretty. My initial switch-ins for me are going to be kind of obvious, so I can work my way around his team. So I fully expected him to expect me to go into Mammoth Swine here, but there was really nothing he could do unless he had HP Water. So I switch into Mammoth Swine, knowing I can take any hit from this thing. Choice Specs anything doesn't kill me unless it's HP Water, and even then I'm Sash. So he clicks Signal Beam though, and he still does quite a bit, or quite not a lot. But then I'm just able to click Ice Shard and pick him off, claim my kill, and that's one less threat out of the way. Like, that gives Thundurus a lot more room to wiggle. Oh, it was HP Flying Thundurus, that's what it was. It did more damage to both Heracross and Amoonguss. Anyway, so the way he brings this thing in tells me that he very well may be Choice Scarf. So I kind of wanted to scout and see. So I switch, and I go into my Heracross here, which was, in hindsight, a misplay, and quite a big one, because if he is Scarfed, he outspeeds me. And look at this damage. That tells me he is a modest Scarfed Politoed. So, for some reason I stayed in here, and I was like, Heracross isn't too big of a need in this match, because there's a lot of things he didn't bring, like Amoonguss. So I was just thinking I could sack it off here, but he misses his Hydro Pump, and I'm like, okay, that's just one less issue out of the way. And honestly, Scarf Politoed was a big issue to my team, so him missing that was unfortunate. But in the end, I would just gone into Tapu Fini and just clicked honestly, I would just click Whirlpool at that point and started trapping things. So we did end up picking up that kill there. But he goes into his Espeon here, so I'm like, okay, here's where the rubber meets the road. He's going to predict me to go. His best play is to go for Dazzling Gleam here, because he's got to predict a potential Umbreon switch in, as well as a potential me staying in here. It covered anything I could do, which would be good prep if he brought it. So I expected this, and I just stayed in to take this hit so I get a free switch and whatever I wanted. And that's exactly what I did. So I sacked off my Heracross to get into my Aerodactyl for free, so that I would be able to potentially bust past a Colbert Espeon. So I click Crunch here just to make sure that I knock it out, because I am Choice Banded. There's no way he lives this, not even close. He couldn't even do it if he was Sash, because his Sash was broken. He goes into his Swampert here, which is a good play on this part, because that pressures me out immensely. However, my Umbreon is guaranteed to live 2 Adamant Rain Boosted Waterfalls from Mega Swampert. So we are going to go straight into my Umbreon here, just to kind of get a pivot around. Now, the first thing I do here is I click, but he switches as he gets my switch. He does make a really good I say he makes a really good here in the next move, but like the next move he makes is really scary. He goes for Waterfall, and this proves that my prep makes me really happy. And that after rocks, he got the max system, max rolls there, but the rain's gone now, so he can't kill me. So he actually clicks Power Up Punch here. Like, that's really scary prep under rain. So it's a good thing I didn't actually go for Foul Play here. I went for Baton Pass, because I knew outside of rain he couldn't outspeed my Thundurus, and he has no way to set up rain unless he has a manual. So I was kind of scouting for the manual rain here. And because he didn't have it, I click Grass Knot here and just claim my kill. Now this thing drops, and at this rate, because he has no rain, his entire team literally just drops to Thunderous. Because he goes into his Kabutops here, and Thunderbolt guaranteed kills this thing after rocks. Even if he was banded adamant, Aqua Jet couldn't kill me. Scarfed adamant liquidation couldn't kill me. I'm at full, so that's why I went for that. And his last Pokemon is his Thunderous, so I'm like, okay, if he's Assault Vest, he may live this Thunderbolt. But if not, we'll live anything he can go for. So we just click Thunderbolt here. And in fact, he's like super bulky because we outsped him. So he is super duper bulky, and he goes for a Sludge Bomb. And he does so little, and it tells me that he's not invested. So I just click him Power Flying here just because I can. And that's the game against Tyler. And this actually does seal up our playoff spot. And at the same time eliminate Deathly I Am. I do hate that we had to eliminate someone, but I mean, he's a good guy, and I really enjoyed having him in the league. And I'm really hoping that he'll come back next season. But we're gonna go on to our final. Alright, and we are back. And I sincerely apologize for that, but turns out I hadn't recorded this this video yet, so we're actually gonna just click the play button on it right here and just record it straight from my 3DS. So this should be fun. So anyway, we've got Sleeping Knight here, coach of the what you call them, the Montreal 2 Canadiens, and we decided to meme this week because there's no way he can make playoffs, and there's no way that I can't. So we're just here to have a fun match. And I mean, this team is a lot of fun. So let me go ahead and go over my team here because this is a lot of fun. So I brought Choice Banded Tapu Fini with knockoff Waterfall, Ice Punch, and what was that? Return. I brought a an Oblivious, I believe, no, a Thick Fat, Amnesia, Curse, Rest, Earthquake, Mamoswine. I brought a Heal Bell, Wish Passing Umbreon, just because it was fun. It was like my only serious set. I brought Toxic Orb, Belly Drum, Toxic Boost, Zangoose with yeah, that was just a fun one. I brought a Weakness Policy, Agility, Aerodactyl, and I believe I brought a Choice Scarfed Go-Goat. This was so much fun. Like, this team was so much fun, and it had a purpose. It could have easily won this match. And there's just a lot of things that you'll see happen in this match that you don't see anywhere else. So, without any further ado, let's hop in. This was a lot of fun. So, I decided I'm going to leave Tapu Fini because little does he know, it pressures his entire team, and like, it's so funny to watch too. So we're gonna leave Tapu Fini as he leads with his Manaphy. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna scout some damage here. We set up the Misty Terrain, and right away we figure out, judging by this U-turn that he pulls off, that he is Choice Banded. He is a Choice Banded Tapu Fini, or not Tapu Fini. We're Choice Banded Tapu Fini. He is a Choice Banded freaking Manaphy, and he switches in this thing as I go for knockoff, and I'm like, bye-bye, just blow away this Miss Mag is. And that was hilarious to me, to be honest. I mean, knockoff's choice specs, which was funny, but not really a non-serious set, you know. He brings in his Klefki, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna switch out and go into my Umbreon, because if he goes for like something like, I don't know, Torment, I don't know. He goes for Calm Mind though, so I'm like, okay. This thing is kind of, and like, it's looking like he brought a serious team, despite the fact that we were memeing. So I click Yawn to prevent him from going for Magnet Rise and actually putting himself to sleep. He clicks D-Gleam and still does -0 to my Umbreon, so that was fun. Yeah, that's right, I was saying a Yawn Baton Pass set because every time I click Yawn, I essentially got a Baton Pass. It's funny is, I don't know why he switched out, because he wouldn't fall asleep under the terrain. So I just click Baton Pass here, as that gave me a free switch back into my Banded Tapu Fini just to do some more work, so this is absolutely scary for his team. I just click Waterfall here as he goes into, I believe, his Manaphy. Nope, he goes into his clef key. And funny enough, this thing does not appreciate this painted waterfall at all. Like, look at that. That is so much damage. Like, this is a Tapu Fini with base 75 attack. We're choice banded, adamant, I believe, and we're just smacking this thing around like it's our job. And it's so funny to watch this, cause like he goes for D-Gleam here, and we still chew that hit because we invested a lot into Spadef. This is so funny. Like, this match is hilarious to me. So we click Waterfall again, and just we take out this clef key. So I'm like, this team is actually working. It's really funny. Choice being a Tapu Fini catches things off guard. He goes into his Manaphy, of course. And I'm like, okay, he's going to go for, like, return or something. So I need to switch out, get into my Aerodactyl to potentially scout what he wants to do. But I think he goes for U-turn here, actually. No, he goes for return. And we actually kind of chew this hit pretty nicely. So, I clicked Agility here as he goes into his Necrozma. Which, I'm thinking, okay, this could be a fun set. Like this, if I can actually get this weakness policy pop on him going for power gym, we could actually just win the game. We click crunch here, we can do a decent chunk of damage to a Necrozma, but he pulls out the Z move, the Continental Crush, and I'm like, dude, this team's just looking more and more serious. I'm like, yeah, it's fun and all, but good lord. So he pulls out the Continental Crush, and clearly judging by the damage that he does, because I'm invested to the special attacks, this is clearly a Z Stone Edge, because he blows us away. So bye bye Aerodactyl, that's sad. But we now decide to go into our Zangoose, set up a belly drum, because why not? I didn't feel like actually trying to win at this point. I just clicked belly drum because I wanted to show off my sets. And turns out he has Photon Geyser, and I didn't quite understand the mechanic of it, as you'll see here in just a second. But Photon Geyser goes bye bye Ricky Tikki Tavi and just blows me out. So bye bye. So Zangoose drops, go into Mamoswine here. I'm like, okay, if he's special set, we'll know here right now. And I'll click he clicks Photon Geyser as I clicked Amnesia. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe we'll live the next two, and I click rest. But as it turns out, he's actually a physical set, and now I learn how the Photon Geyser mechanic works. Because had I gone for a curse, I would live the next one pretty easily too. But no, instead he's a physical set, and it makes me sad. So I click curse just to get some memes showing off here. 'Cause why not, right? Curse Mamoswine. Curse Amnesia Mamoswine's fun. Yeah. But so we're just gonna click rest here on the off chances, or no, we switch out to make this thing death fodder. Cause why not? Go into my Umbreon because I want to chew the freaking so I want to chew the Photon Geyser, and we can chew another hit. And I think I click Yawn here actually. Yeah, I click Yawn here as he goes for X Scissor. He does a decent chunk to me, but this lets me get a free baton pass again into my freaking Tapu Fini. So once again, getting more kills. That's the whole point of Tapu Fini. Except he withdraws because he doesn't want to fall asleep. Goes into this Pidgeot here, which is very depressing because I click baton pass here and go into my actually go into my Go-Go because I am Scarf, and this is going to be a lot of fun. So I click Rock Slide here, I believe. He withdraws, and what does he go? I can't remember what he goes into. He goes into this, oh, he goes into Alola Marowak, and, yeah, have fun with that, because we do a decent chunk to this thing. We don't bring it into hit KO range, sadly, because Go-Go is just barely not strong enough. But we switch out, we go into our, yeah, I go into Mamoswine to sack it. Because on the off chance he decided to go for Flare Blitz or something. But he goes for Fury Cutter. I'm like, what? Okay. That doesn't make much sense, but okay. So I go to Tapu Fini. I'm like, alright, let's just go and blow this thing away. Click knockoff, find out what item it's got. He'll go from there. Right? So let's just see. So I click knockoff, and turns out this thing is a thick club set. So this thing drops. I'm like, dude, like I said, this team's just looking serious.com. He goes into his mana fee. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna click. I'm wishing I had stayed and click knockoff, but no, I went to sack my Umbreon because, yeah, he goes for return, and yeah, I had to sack something, so I get that, and I go to my Go-Go because I am scarfed, and I have Horn Leech, so I can sit here and spam Horn Leech all day long. So I click Horn Leech and just go, yay, heal me. Good lord, it is so much. Is that a crit? No, he just didn't appreciate it. Yeah, his bandit set isn't to it killing me after Horn Leech, thank goodness. But yeah, so we knock out this mana fee. Thing was annoying. Now Tapu Fini can come and spam Waterfall pretty much. If it wasn't for the fact that this Go-Go was like walled by this freaking Pidgeot. So he Mega Evolves, so I couldn't sack off a Tapu Fini because I wanted to make sure that I killed this thing, or that I could at least do some damage. But he actually outsped my Scarf Go-Go, which is really weird. So I thought I'd EV just to creep that, but you know, Heat Wave is gonna blow me away anyway. And then we're down to my last one. Terrain goes away and then comes right back, so I'm bringing Tapu Fini. And the only way he kills me is if he has that one move that Mega Pidgeot is destined to always have, which is the Hyper Meme. So he breaks out the Hyper Meme, the one meme move I've seen besides Banded Manaphy. And yeah, that's the game, but that was a fun match. I didn't really care too much. And our playoff spot is locked. We are going up against Elite Four Dan, and I hope you guys can appreciate this this video. I'm really sorry how really crammed it seems, but hopefully you guys will enjoy this. Leave a like and a comment if you did somehow still like this video. I'm really hoping my upload quality will be better as I go, because this cap card situation is non-existent, so I'm trying to make this somewhat work out still to my advantage while still not having to buy another cap card, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the ramble. I'm going to go and record my team prep for Elite Four Dan now, because we have quite the spicy team ready. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in a little bit. Bye, guys.